exam. The first one. All right, we am live.
Yo.
What's going on, guys? There's probably going to be like nobody here because like last week when we did Mondays, like nobody showed up.
Sad.
It is sad.
Sorry.
I guess more people are alive on Sundays than on Mondays. I'm going to move my mic away a little bit here. What's going on, guys? We're doing the usual Sunday stream again, as late as usual. We've been bad this
My fault this time.
It was your fault. Hey, I was exhausted too, man. I went to bed. Well, I was supposed to go to bed at like 10 last night. I went to bed at like 11:30 because I was working on this kit. I was going to stop at the leg armor, and then I kept going and actually started getting to the point of putting on the stickers and adding the extra paint. So actually, I'm going to move this because I'm leaning up against it. Stay.
Gunpla's like Prinkles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
It's kind of true. Let's see. Do we have any channel updates? Did anything important happen in the last week? What did you have up on the channel this past week?
Let's see. I had so Monday I had the controlling shelf space special with just me.
It's just
where
me. It's
no additional help. I took care of all the shelves and stuff on my own.
Yeah, it's where you actually remembered to time lapse the work, unlike when we were doing it. Yeah.
What was fun with that was because I wasn't about to like just do this in complete and utter silence. I was listening to podcasts, and I would when I first set it up, I'd like, okay, turn on the podcast, turn on the hyperlapse, the camera beeps, and then turns off the podcast. I'm like, the fuck? And it took me a few tries to figure out. It's like, okay, start the hyperlapse, mess with the menu, get the podcast going, and then going. That's why if you look at the start of each hyperlapse, you see me messing with the screen before I move on to work.
That's pretty funny. They might need to turn the volume down just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you can hear me. Yeah, a lot less echo.
Then Friday I had the update for my MS100 contest entry.
I did not watch that. Oh wait, no, I started. No, I take it back. I started watching it. Started watching it, and then work got crazy. I never went back.
And then Monday I had a Lego review come up.
You did have a Lego review, an Iron Man mech suit Lego thing.
And that thing is so cool. It is so much fun.
Spoilers, yeah.
Spoilers. I don't mind spoiling this because it's really cool, and I think everybody should give that a try, especially since it was like $10 or something like that at a Kroger.
Yeah, it's a Marvel.
Or no, it was at Walmart or something, but it's still like not super expensive, particularly for a license kit and for what you get.
Yeah.
And they have a Spider-Man one and a Thanos one, and I may get both of them somewhere down the line just because I just had too much fun building that thing.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, so over on the Shoki area. So if we go back to Saturday, a whopping Saturday ago, we did the first Your 15 Minutes in like over a year. It went off pretty well, except for the end where it just completely went nuts, and we watched Jerry eat a sandwich. It was just weird. It was just weird. Like somebody made the joke there should be a sandwich cast. Everybody just does a sandwich, and then Jerry's like, "I could do that." And I was like, "Your time's already up. I could come back." And so at the end, I'm talking to Joey, and we're just having a conversation. We're like, "Okay," it's like, "I'll let you come on, but you got 15 minutes to eat it. But you can't say anything. You just eat the sandwich." It's like, so Joey and I continued our conversation as Jerry was eating off to the side. So it was fun. It was actually a lot of fun. I watched it again the other day, or yesterday, whatever day that was, when I was working on this.
I'll need to check that one out.
It was a lot of fun. I know you couldn't do it because you were busy remote gaming. Let's see, what else did I have? Friday was the Gundam Tertium review. which has done fairly well, despite how annoyed I got at that. I legit got frustrated in the review. Like, you haven't watched it yet because I know you want to keep your opinions pure since you just got the kit. But I legit got frustrated, like, in the review. At one point, I literally just said, fuck it, and I, like, threw it down, and I just kept talking, like, without handling it. And it's like, it's been a while since I've been that frustrated while filming.
That sounds about like where I was when I was trying to review my perfect grade Exia. I was just getting so frustrated that I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Androius had a question here.
Rod, have tried my tips to get the. Oh, I vaguely remember somebody giving me tips for that, and no, I haven't tried anything. I like him holding the beam saber for the most part, so I just sort of leave the gun on the ground in front of it.
Yeah. Hey, there's the sandwich eater himself. But I also did the random panning set to music for that one as well, because apparently I just do that now. But for that, I actually had it evolving as it went. So it started out normal, and then it gained its weapons, and then it got the Seltsam arm and stuff like that. But unfortunately, despite the fact that I filmed like 4.5 minutes worth of random panning, which needed to be condensed to about 2 minutes and 13 seconds, I think is how much that song is. It wasn't enough footage, so I actually had to chop it and try to match the beat as best I could, because I only had like 1:30 worth of footage when I was done.
I hate it when that happens. I've had that happen on so many videos.
So for those wondering, it's like it actually does take some production and editing to make those silly videos work, especially when I'm trying to make it fit within a certain time frame. Unlike my time lapses or my build montages, which is, a set amount of time, but I can, I can modify the clip because it's a time lapse, so I can just speed it up, slow it down, whatever, to make it fit. But I remember there was one time where I had to really chop it, and it ended up being like 2.5 minutes instead of 3 minutes and 5 seconds. It was like, that was hard, trying to actually trim the short montage down. Let's see, what else did I have? It's hard to remember anymore. Oh yeah,
I know, right?
Flame Toys Prime, which for the first time ever, if you're following me on social media, Flame Toys actually responded and liked my Instagram and Twitter post, and they retweeted the actual pictures on Twitter. I was like, whoa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like I just posted that like a little while ago. Like, they have ignored everything, every single thing I posted Flame Toys wise since I started with Drift. Every single thing has been ignored by them. I've tagged them in every single thing. This one they responded to, so it's like maybe they'll retroactively go back and look at everything else I've tagged them in. Hopefully, but that excited me. I'm trying to remember, when did I do Naruto? Was that last week too? Probably, I don't remember. But not a lot of people have watched that, so sad face. It's a cool statue. Go watch the video, though. With the one that just got in today, so I did film a new In the Kitchen with Shoki. It will be up first thing tomorrow morning. There is a surprise in there, just a little teaser, something that most people would not expect to happen. But it was pretty good. I like your random panning video. Your 13 review was filled with frustration, though. Yes, I know it was. First of all, was just trying to get the lighting to work for any semblance of light balance. It did not like that combination of white and purple. Like, my camera hated it. It could not figure out what to do. So it looks like ass. Like, that's like starting out with it just looking wrong and then having to fight the thing in a review just pissed me off. But either way. So yeah, that's it. Go watch our things. Go subscribe to this one. Link as always down below. Now there's only 2 of you watching anyway, so I know you're both subscribed to him, so it's fine. But for those who may watch in the future, because there are some of y'all.
Hello, future people.
Future people. I'm surprised at how many views we get after the fact. I guess a lot of people watch it because they're catching it the next day because they're on the other side of the world or stuff like that.
Possibly.
Jerry says it's not loading for him. I don't know what he means. something's not loading for him. But let's go ahead and get into this review because I know it's going to be a long one due to the fact that this is a very wordy episode.
Yeah. I think I have like 5 pages of notes.
I don't actually know how many pages of notes I have, so you might have more than me. So, episode 12, Char, the Red Comet. So if you guys remember last time, Zeon kind of really won that battle.
Yeah.
Badly.
Just a little.
A little, like utter defeat, pretty much. Oops, I'm not my cup.
They kind of, captured Admiral Rebel.
Yeah, captured Rebel, wiped out a good chunk of the Federation fleet, killed thousands, that kind of thing.
So that mobile suits are something to be freaking afraid of.
Yes. Is that a person? Yeah, no. But basically, it's parade time. We see all the ticker tape coming down. We get the announcement of the victory and stuff like that. And yeah, they're celebrating the heroes of the Battle of Loom. But we zoom in on, I guess, Castle Zabi. I don't know. That big, weird, crazy looking building that they have.
I think they even name drop what it is this time.
They did later, and I think that might be the chunk that's behind it because they actually made sure to show that they went past that kind of tower and into like the stained glass part, which I believe was like the not community hall, but something like that. Convention center.
I have it written down something like it's like totally not evil place.
Yes, it totally. It reminds me a little bit of Mumra's crash.
Oh yeah,
yeah, or not maybe not Mumra. The mutants from Thundercats. Their crash spaceship after it like sunk down, got all rotted out, and then came back up. But yeah, basically. So Big Daddy is very, very not happy with his eldest son at this point. And he says that a quick peace must be their goal. It's like, let's just get this done. We've beaten them soundly. Let's just take what happened here and get the Federation to the negotiation table so we can just get this over with.
And I know I keep saying this, but again, this paints him in a really somewhat positive light. It's like, we've won. I don't want to continue this war. I want us to be victorious, humble the Federation a little bit, keep ourselves in power, and that's it. I don't want to go out and massacre millions. That's your idea.
Yeah, literally, Gihren's basically like, nah. We're gonna just keep winning. We're just gonna the next battle, the one after that, until this is over. And
I have written down as like, with all due respect, I'm going to kill more people. So how about we don't do peace and just do that?
Yeah, literally, he's a warmonger at this point. He's been shown to be someone even since the beginning when he was playing what I guess was Go, basically. Mm-hmm. He has to win, and it can't just be a war of attrition and then win at the end. It has to be complete and utter defeat of the enemy.
I bet if I knew more about Go, if like looking on that scene, we could tell like he was maybe playing like super aggressively or something like that.
Well, he was also looking at strategies. Remember, he had that book in front of him the whole time. So he's going over different strategies, seeing what works. Basically, like chess, you sacrifice the necessary pieces, even if they're big ones. But if it gets you the ultimate win, it doesn't matter as long as you come out on top. But basically, I like his Big Daddy's reaction. He's like, yeah, others have said that before, like Napoleon, Hitler. Like we already get like from him literally. It's like, yeah, you sound a lot like Hitler. And
dropping the H bomb just right there.
bad pun. Think about it, bad pun. But his reply is, the follies of ancient history have nothing to teach us. Apparently never heard those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
That's exactly what I've written. It's like, really, dude? Like, really? That's just like not even philosophy 101. That's just like shit that they put in cartoons. Where were you?
It's cliche now because it's true. But the fact that like this also really reminded me of the 12th Doctor's speech in Inversion of the Zygons, talking about war and stuff like that. This really reminded me of that, especially when it kept just when he said, "We'll win the next battle," and then the one after that, and then the one after that, and it's like, okay, well, what happens when you don't win? It's like nobody wins forever, you know.
Mhm.
And then what do you do with the people like you? You know, it's like, well, we beat them too. Oh, do you? It's like it's all about the ego, and that's 100% where Gihren is. He's like
Yeah.
so fucking self-inflated, it's ridiculous. But even
It's amazing that his ego fits inside that building.
yeah, I think he's actually getting taller, like because his ego's like filling him up. Or he's so full of shit. I don't know. But I like his. He also says, "What did Dakin tell us? You know, basically, space noids are the future. They're the ones who are going to usher in the next stage of evolution. You know, we have the perfect opportunity at hand right now to make Dakin's ideals a reality." And this is when you actually kind of gathered that Degwin really wasn't about what Dakin was. And despite what we've seen of the Zabi family, he is the sane one. it's like it's like the man who created all of these insane children is actually pretty sane and kind of kind. But maybe that's just his old age. You know, he's been around a long time.
This also reminds me a lot of what kind of happened with like the original, as written in paper, ideas for like socialism. What
Yeah.
happened when basically people with ideas of power got a hold of it and basically twisted it around until it basically didn't resemble what it was anymore. So these guys are
Yeah.
taking the teachings of Zeon Daikun, which, yeah, he kind of wanted revolution, but he didn't necessarily want all this. And they're saying, yes, he does want all this.
Yeah, and that's where we do run into that when we discuss this like way early on at the very beginning of all this. It's like he was going to go in there and declare independence and war the first go around when they killed him. So in reality, going back to that, it wasn't just that the Zabis wanted power. They actually, or at least Big Daddy, didn't want to start a war. He did want peace and independence,
True.
but he didn't want millions to die to get there. He clearly was not happy with the colony drop. He's clearly wanting, he's like, look, we've devastated them. All we got to do is go to them at the table and be like, look, you leave us alone, we leave you alone. Maybe we get a friendly trade in the future, but we don't need to kill you. You don't need to kill us. We can just have peace. And everybody below him, no, you know. And basically, Gihren says all this stuff as he's leaving. Like, and he's like waving. He's like, okay, you know, we'll just keep doing this onward and onward and onward. And just,
Yeah.
like, part of me was like, that was ego, but fear at the same time. Like, I think he was scared at this point because his dad was clearly like, no, you've got to not do this. And it's like, I may be the Supreme Commander, but he's still the sovereign. And he could probably have me killed, you know, if I don't follow his ways. Speaking of which, hey, Cassilia. Yeah, Daddy. Of course, she's all ninja, hiding right behind him in the curtains.
I think that's another First Gundam reference because she does that quite a bit where she's behind a curtain and comes out to say something and then goes back and disappears.
Through the hedge, like just. And basically, he says exactly that. He's like, look, I don't like what he's saying. This is not going to be good for us or this country or our people, anything. Can you give him a new car? Yeah.
I hear the Anaheim ones are go out with a bang.
They're hot this year. The new hotness. But literally, it's like she was just like, she's like, what is? I forgot what she says. She ends it with a really creepy statement. You know, like "I am your Caecilia" or something like that.
Yeah.
Or your Caecilia is here, something like that. Which is fine if it's just really creepy and like that. This is just the cold open. Like we
Yeah.
haven't even gotten to like
Oh,
real episode.
she
I know
says, "Your Caecilia will always be by your side."
that. Yeah, it's hard foreshadowing how Degwin later on got killed by Gihren and MFG during the negotiations with Rebel. Yeah,
Yep.
no spoilers.
Because I actually have like Digwin says that she's the only one who can stop him. I have written next to that. Yep.
Yep.
He says he'll destroy the country and our family. Yep. Well,
Yep.
partially. There's someone else who will finish that up later.
Yeah. So I mean, he's turning. He was a good strategist and a great leader and a great speaker to rally the people. Unfortunately, all of that has gone too far, and now he's turning into a tyrant. When that's not, you know, he's turning into a different version of the tyranny that they've already suffered. Except, of course, the Xeonic people aren't paying for that just yet. Except for all the people in Loom and other, you know, colonies that don't agree with them. They pay the price. But then that gets blamed on the Federation, so it doesn't matter. It's like, is that me, or are they like they're committing like these atrocities and they're like, well, it's the Federation's fault we had to kill you. Federation's fault we had to drop that colony and murder, you know, thousands of people on the colony, millions upon millions on Earth. That's the Federation's fault we had to do that.
It's the Federation's fault that we killed half the world's population.
It's like an abusive relationship. It's like, you know, this is your fault I'm kicking your ass. You know, it's the same thing. It's like, but he's trying to lead. He was leading by inspiration and things like that before, and I feel like at some point it's just going to start leading by fear, except for they already are. You know, people are so scared they're just submitting because they know if we don't, we're just going to die. I mean, look what happened to the Osnables. You know, they were so scared that they were going to die where they were that they tried to leave, and then they ended up dying where they were anyways. You know, all because that particular side couldn't get their shit together. But there we go. That's the intro. Yay, it's over.
Intro's still awesome.
Yes. All right, you can take this next section.
Okay, so we cut back to the Zabi household, and I have in parentheses specifically Dozel's home. I don't know if it's the same one or
Dozel took over the old mansion, the old family mansion.
And Garma isn't happy. He's been assigned to Staff HQ. I also have a note that how 70s the inside of their home looks.
Super 70s.
Yeah. It's I think I have it's like 70s meets Dracula Castle or something.
Very much so.
But Garma wants to be on the front lines, and Dagwin does not want that at all.
No, he wants his little golden child to be safe off to the side because he is their future. Because he's supposedly their best new type creation.
Yeah, and so Garma and Dozel and Zena and little baby Beneba are like they're eating like pie or something like that.
I think it's dessert. Yeah, it's clearly after dinner.
And Garma's trying to get Dozel to basically pull strings, and Dozel's like, it's out of my hands. And then he's like, yeah, but you're like the hero of Loom. Yeah. Surely that means something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my place. And then he mentions how Char is not only has he gained like a special decoration, it's a special decoration that boosts him up 2 ranks, which causes him to be outranked by Char
by a lot.
And Dozel's like, oh, if that's a problem, we'll just give you 2 ranks yourself. No biggie.
Yeah, we can rank you up.
No. And he's like, no, you don't understand. That's not what I want. I want it to actually mean something.
Yeah, so he basically, it's kind of what he's been saying since Char got in his head. Before, he was happy being handed everything. He could just live by his name. But after being with Char in the academy and whatnot, he wanted to try to be his own man. But due to his family now wanting to protect him, more specifically his dad, he can't do anything to earn his own fame and recognition and gain rank by his own merit. Which is a great argument to make. Except, this is what I wrote. Ironically, he wants to make a name for himself without being handed everything because of his name. But he's asking Dozel to interfere so that he
Yeah.
can do it on his own. Help me do it on my own, Dozel. I can't do it without you. I can't do things on my own without you.
Yeah, it's like he's shouting about this, and which starts scaring Baby Beneba. And then he's more calmly says, like, he's like, I don't want this handed to him. Stuff like that treat me not seriously. They say the only accomplishment was being born into the zombie family. And then he starts crying.
Yeah. Yeah. He literally, he started out strong, and then he resulted to just crying like the little princess.
And Zaina kind of looks at him, and my first thought is like, her thought is like, do all the zombie men just burst into tears at a drop of a hat? Because this is ridiculous.
No, I think it's just these two. Because it's already been established that these two are fairly similar compared to the others. Yeah, they're kind-hearted, but deeply stupid and powerful at the same time. Well, at least one of them.
And Zaina actually is the one who ends up kind of tapping Dozel on the shoulder. It's like, come on, do something. You gotta cry out here. It's making me uncomfortable. Do something.
You're lagging bad.
And I'm lagging bad.
Yeah.
How bad?
You went full robot.
Okay, am I good now, or do I need to try something?
You're not even moving smoothly.
Oh, fun. Hold on a sec.
I can hear you, but your camera is crap. He's turning off the Wi-Fi.
There we go. Am I back?
You am back. Okay.
Okay.
You lasted that long.
What's that?
You lasted that long.
My wife's on Discord, I think, so she's talking with people now. So I think that's what's taking over things. Anyway, so Dozel finally is like, all right, I'll talk to Gihren about this.
Literally, like, let me do something. Let me get out into battle so I can earn some notoriety.
Yeah. And we cut back to the not evil-looking zombie castle headquarter thing.
Yes, but there's no time for any of that. Party time.
It's the newly completed Principality government building called Dakun Hall.
That's what it is. It's just,
and
it looks
inside of it looks like it's carved out of stone, like roughly carved out of stone, or like out of like something that you would see on the bottom of the sea or something like that. It's kind of cool looking, if a bit weird architectural wise.
Everything about the building is really strange. It looks alien. It's a really strange building. There's no straight lines, and it's all random geometric shapes and spines and stuff. It's just like, what? Who did this? Like, this seems like a Gihren thing.
It's probably, I mean, the meta reason for it is that it's probably sort of leftovers from the era of super robot anime, where your bad guys were all aliens and stuff like that. So a lot of that design philosophy was still in place when First Gundam came out, and so it just keeps getting translated into this because it's still representational of that time period.
It's straight up like ring of bad guy castle.
Yeah, like
even with the stained glass windows.
You expect like the dinosaur empire from Getter or something like that to be operating out of it or something.
But we get an announcer talking about, here's, the party and, to celebrate the victory and the heroes and things like that. And then they had the, I guess the decoration ceremony, where they're actually giving them their medals and stuff like that before off screen. Mm-hmm. And you get all the different soldiers coming in, everybody from the front lines, including the Black Tri-Stars, which, they're partying, they're enjoying their fair bit of fame right there, until somebody else walks in the room and everybody, wets themselves. Because, of course, Char is not far behind them and then literally takes all of the attention off of them, which they're already so tired of.
Yeah, it's like I have heard that. It's like they announced the red comet has arrived, and women are screaming at him, and everyone is focusing their attention on him.
Literally, it took everything else that was going on and literally diverted everything. Even the guy doing the announcing and stuff like that, he even says he gets his rank wrong, and then he's like, oh wait, no, he's this, look, and he says his full name and everything like that. Um, so yeah, it's just like, okay, yeah, he's a superstar. They even call him the Ace of Aces.
Yeah,
It's like, wow, it's like they're really like filleting him on this one. It's just like I'm
just a
sure,
little, right?
like I don't know if Char really has an ego in the same way that other people do. I mean, he knows he's superior, but I don't know if it's like the same kind of ego that Gihren has or something like that. He doesn't seem to take pride in the same way. He takes enjoyment, but I don't
Hmm.
think he's ever been proud of anything. It's almost like he's aloof of his own greatness to
It's not
some degree.
arrogance if you really are just that good.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. It's like he's super arrogant and talks down to people, but he's super kind and easygoing when he does it.
Yeah,
It's like the way he talks to everybody is just super straight, doesn't get an attitude, doesn't get angry. He talks to everybody at the same tone for the most part, even when he's insulting them to their face. It's just like it's like I don't know what to do with this. It's just like they're
yeah.
so
Well, it's
confused
like
by his demeanor half
like
the
in
time.
if it was either in last episode or the episode before where that guy comes up to offer him the bazooka or
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
and or no, he offers him an extra clip for
yeah.
the bazooka, and he says like, "Go get some glory for yourself. Don't worry about me."
Get
And then
some
he hands
glory.
him his empty bazooka and flies off.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't. He's like it's funny that he's just with all his victories and everything ever since the academy, like he's just been upward trajectory. And it's almost nonstop. It's like at some point, like it's like the fighting has taken over versus his initial goal, I guess, to
Well,
kill
and I
the
guess
zombies.
to a certain degree, all of this is just a means to an end.
Yeah,
His goal isn't to become Char the Red Comet, Ace of Aces. His goal is to rise up in the ranks so that way he can get close enough to the zombies to put a bullet in their heads.
well, if he had a gun on him in this episode, he could have killed most of them in a single room and just be done with it. Like all of them were there except for maybe Cassilia. No, she was there too, if I remember correctly. But it's just like most of the people who ruined his life are in one room right now. All he would need is a gun, but I bet nobody was allowed to have one in there. But I love when Dozel was walking through first, and they're just like he radiates. What do they say? He radiates something. Like he was like basically he's like the pinnacle of manliness and power, or some
Yeah.
shit. I was like, wow, this guy is literally just filleting everybody about this.
Well, to be
Um,
fair, Dozel is one of the zombies and the hero of Loom.
the
So
hero of Loom. I mean, he did. He's a fleet commander. He did what he needed to do. If he came up with this whole strategy and his plan and executed it essentially perfectly, led the men to victory more than has ever happened in their history. They've been
mhm.
around not quite 100 years, since the Universal Century began, and this was the first step towards something they actually could recognize as a goal. You know, let's see. I'm reminded of one line from manga where Axe's Xeon girl said to Char, "No Xeon woman will turn you down, Char." And that was after 1 year war where Xeon had lost. Girls are still thirsty for him. Yeah, it's like, well, he's an attractive dude, and like he probably has some kind of new type pheromones going on that probably help.
New tech pheromones.
It's got to be a thing, right? It's like the 51st century pheromones from Jack Harkness. Like this works on anybody. But Gihren gets up there to just basically speechify the victory and you know just blow smoke up everyone's ass like usual. And like I literally wrote, "Can Char just kill him now?"
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
have written down. It's like he's giving a speech about how these warriors are their pride and joy and cannon fodder.
yeah, literally. Um, and then Char's talking to all the girls, and Garma walks up with his hair over one eye for some reason. but only in like this one chunk of a scene, because in the next scene his hair is normal. I don't know what's going on with that. He was like super edgy. Like I could see him off to the side, like doing that so he can walk up and be super edgy to
I
Char.
could easily see Garma doing that.
Yeah, it was like, but I think he cares too much about his appearance to purposely fuck it up. Because he's definitely too preen and proper and full of himself for that. Um,
Right.
it's like it seems to be a thing with the zombie family, so utterly full of yourself and zero self-esteem at the same time.
Hmm.
Um, but like he basically walks up, gets a little braggy with him, and just wants to let him know it's like, look, I'm gonna be either as good as you, and I've got my new assignment. I get to be, I forget, air command or some shit. I forgot exactly what the thing was. It doesn't matter. But basically, he says, "Look, I'm going to be as good as you one day. I'm going to earn all my own shit on my own." And Sharp basically like, "Good, go for it. Do what you got to do, man."
Yeah, he's actually really. I mean, you can kind of tell that he's being Char about it, but he's outwardly being. It's like, yeah, sounds
Good.
great. That's a
Sounds
good
great.
post for you. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Well, the funny thing is, he says it's a good thing for him to do, but also it sounds a little down and dirty for him, given what they're going to do. They're being assigned to go clean up Loom and
Yeah.
anybody left, and he gets all pissed off. Do you think I can't do it on my own? He gets mad and like gets really like vocal in the middle of this giant crowd, and basically like, look, I'm gonna be my own man. It's like nobody's gonna do this for me. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do it. And Sharp's just like, cool, go do it. Because I think at some point he does want Garma to be better. I mean, he is a zombie, but at some point they're kind of friends. If Char is allowed to have a friend, that's not a Lala. Um, it's just like I guess he does mean it, but when does he ever mean anything? That's the hardest part about him. It's like the person who can lie better than anyone else in this entire fucking series is Char.
Yeah. Like full franchise, 40 years of history.
Yeah, I don't think anybody lies as good as him. Like from at least from just the stuff I've seen and you see, it's like nobody's that good except for him. It's like there's full of yourself or ignorant. He's neither. He's hyper intelligent. He's not full of himself because he literally is that good. So he can lie straight and you will never know because he's been doing it since he was 8.
Right.
It's like when he was 8, he had balls enough to stand up to a woman who wanted him dead and just say,
Who
look,
had him handcuffed, pinned against a wall or a couch or something like
yeah,
that. And it's like, I could kill you right now. It's like, no, what you're going to do is undo these handcuffs because I'm Castle Daikun.
yeah, you will bow down. But yeah, at this point, that ends and the party ends, and they just kind of smirk at each other, which I thought was a little weird. I thought they were gonna fuck there for a minute. It got really like sexually charged at like the end of it.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But he also did say, "He's look, I'm not that same child from back then." And when I first saw that, I'm like, "Wait, does he know he's Casval and he's thinking all the way back to the funeral when they kind of first met?" And it's like, "No, wait, he means from the academy." I was like, for a second, I'm like, "Wait, is he aware that this is Casval all this time?" Which how nobody else has figured it out makes no fucking sense. It's just like,
yeah, that was a thought that crossed my mind when I was watching the scene. It's like, wait a minute, all of the zombies are there right now, and he's just sitting there among them. It's like, good thing I have this mask on, otherwise you guys would totally know my secret identity.
but he's seen his blue eyes before, so it's funny. Of course, everybody who was at the academy knew he had blue eyes. It's like, it's just some blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid. Sure it is. Okay.
Well, even in First Gundam, we know that Garma sees Char without the mask on.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene with that. So it's like,
now that we know they lived together for at least during the academy days, there's no way he never saw him without his mask on. But he also with all the reports and everything, he's just some blonde hair, blue-eyed guy named Char Aznavour, who came from Texas colony, you know, who just suddenly is better at everything than he had been before. But from there, they jump to Garma actually doing the thing. He's actually on the front lines. Like, he couldn't get more front line if he tried in this case. He's literally on this giant
he's in that
tank thing. You know, it's also like a drop ship at the same time. And they're just shooting at people and blowing up buildings, and he's screaming out orders. And then they launch
doing
Zaku's.
a pretty good job, you know, murdering all the people, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not even like Federation soldiers here. It looks like it's just people of Loom. Like, they're just like fighting for their own, like, they're fighting the people directly now. They're not even fighting the Federation. They're just fighting the people who were siding with the Federation. And even half of them weren't even on board. They're like, half of Loom was with Zeon, half was with the Federation. They've blown up the Federation at this point. Now it's just everybody who doesn't want to die is fighting back, and they're dying. And we actually get to see some scale of people to mobile suits, which is something we really don't get to see very well from like street level, even to the point that there's a giant empty shell casing that's falling on a mom running with her baby.
It's very reminiscent of a scene from Gundam F91.
Oh yeah,
because there's a scene where actually a woman with a baby is running away from a mobile suit battle, and a shell comes flying off, clonks her on the head, killing her instantly, having her fall over holding the baby, and then somebody has to come and rescue the baby.
Wow. And they definitely were crushing some people along the way, other than just blowing shit up. But like, that's one of the things, is like the scale of it. When they first come in, you just think it's like a normal like APC, but then you zoom in and you see, oh, this is actually a very big vehicle, and this is technically an armored mobile suit carrier.
It's like, it's an APC for mobile suits.
Yeah. And it's like, holy shit. It's like the scale has been the one thing that's very hard to grasp with this. Like we talked about last time, comparison, the ships passing each other to actually seeing a person through the window. You're like, oh, these really aren't that big of vessels. Like, they seem huge because we see them next to other things that are also massive. So that's where you really have to come down to grips of how big colonies are. Like, colonies don't look like much because you're always seeing them from a distance, but then you see them next to a mobile suit that's right literally next to it, and you're like, okay, that mobile suit is this big compared to a person. That mobile suit is that big compared to the colony. It's like, holy shit, this is unimaginably big. So, I mean, like, even, you know, our tallest skyscrapers don't even compare. It's kind of ridiculous. But basically, Garma doing the zombie thing, just getting out there, trying to blow some shit up and make a name for himself by blowing up innocent people.
Yeah, pretty much.
What they're good at. Oh, you got some people over there. Are they innocent? Yeah, kill them all. And like, this is leading into one of my more favorite scenes in conversations. And basically, we're at the POW prison, and Big Daddy is gonna go see Rebel. It's like, I like how they just allude to that. They're like, you know, they have him like walk up basically, and then they cut away. It's like, no, I want to watch that.
Yeah.
And they cut to a random museum. I don't even know what colony it's on. I assume it's actually on like Zeon, or the main
Neo France.
Yeah, Neo France.
Well, the museum, I'm fairly certain, is based off of the Louvre.
Yeah, it seems like that because he's showing off. This guy's walking him through. He's looking at different artwork. They start on not the Venus de Milo, but a sculpture,
a statue of Venus of some sort.
Statue of Venus. Obviously, it's got arms, so it's not Venus de Milo. And he cuts him off. He's like, "No, that's not real." What? He's like, "Are you sure?" Uh-huh. And then it's like literally walks him through, showing him different exhibits and different pieces, whether it's a sculpture, whether it's a painting, whether it's a Grecian urn. Everything there is fake one way or another, or reproduction of a reproduction of a reproduction.
Yeah, I love watching I'm guessing he's like the museum director or something like that. and just seeing him slowly lose it as this random person who we know is Makube.
One of the weirdest names.
Yeah. I looked up the pronunciation for it for this thing.
I actually listened to the scene when she pronounces his name, and I was like, okay, that's how you're supposed to say it. Because I was just going to call him Makuv. What's up, Makuv? Like, make sure it's.
And his name has like a weird origin to it, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. They talked about it on Mobile Suit Breakdown when he showed up in First Gundam.
Yeah, because I actually remember his face from old animation. Was he in Zeta at some point?
No, he's from First Gundam.
Or was he in? Well, I mean, was he in Zeta, or did he die before that?
No, because I think he buys it in First Gundam.
Okay, I don't know, but I know I've seen him before. So when he was on screen here, of course I didn't know what his name was, but I'd seen his face in the original animation at some point in time. Obviously, I don't know when.
And he's the pilot of the Gihren.
Is that what? Oh, that's right. Okay. Which is interesting because just to look at him, you wouldn't think he does anything significant. It doesn't even look like he would be a pilot of anything. He just looks like somebody who was sitting in an office and signing papers.
And they talk about it later, but basically he's like either the person or just a higher up person when it comes to basically Earth after Zeon takes over. In First Gundam, he's in charge of. When we see him in First Gundam, he's at like a mine of some sort, where I think they're mining gold. Plus, also he's like plundering various works of art across the world. It's he's very much a Nazi staff officer, basically.
Yeah, it makes sense. But like he clearly knows real history, and part of the conversation he has is that look, Zeon has only existed as it is, or Spacenoids or the colonies only existed for not quite 100 years. We have no real history, so we have to pirate the history of Earth to try to have something of our own. And this is all fake. We're just surrounding ourselves with fake history because we don't have any.
Yeah.
And like that's an interesting conversation he was having, and it makes sense. And in a way, the right people are actually trying to fight so that they can have their own history, that they can make their own history. Other people are just to kill everybody involved. So it's a very interesting conversation he was having with that museum director. He threw that guy for a loop, who clearly believed or has been lying for so long that he didn't realize these weren't real artifacts. But it makes sense. We wouldn't send real 1,000-year-old artifacts into space to be displayed in a colony elsewhere. We would have reproductions of reproductions. I mean, it's true for a lot of museums in general that they don't have originals out almost anywhere. If they do, they're usually really guarded, that kind of stuff where you can't get close enough to touch anything. Even when I went to the Van Gogh exhibit a few years ago here, not everything there was an actual original. They had like one or two that were like true original paintings, and like you weren't allowed to get near them. Like they were just kind of over there. Like you could look at it from here, and also you weren't even allowed to have, like, you weren't supposed to take pictures, and you definitely couldn't have flash photography. So I could just see, like, imagine them doing the same thing in a colony 300 years from now, and they're literally trying to pass off, as this guy basically said, like a gift shop trinket as a real
something like that
history. But if you look at that Grecian urn, it's like very topical about what's going on in this. If you actually look at it.
Oh, I did pay that close attention to what was it depicting.
Hold on, let me. I have it here because
I spent several years in art history classes because of my degree. I should have picked up on that.
You should have. Didn't.
Of course, also I sucked at my art history classes, so.
So it's actually it's a Spartan soldier surrounded by some centaurs that are coming at him from different directions, and he's like looking like he's trying to figure out what to do.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of topical. Like you'd think, like the Spartans think so highly of themselves and have conquered a good chunk of the world, and then they run into something they probably didn't expect that takes them down a notch. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too far into it. But they hang on it for so long in that scene. They
Oh,
really wanted you to see what it was.
well, and I think later on we see him like staring at a painting of Napoleon. So
Yeah, that
they
too.
know what they're
That's what
doing when they're.
yeah,
What's that?
I noticed that too. The portrait of Napoleon on the horse. Yeah, I noticed that same thing. I was like, we've already had the Napoleonic comparison. I was like, now we're literally putting it out there. But it's like,
Yeah,
if next to that was a picture of Hitler and we just missed it, we're just really like, yeah, okay, now we understand what this is. And
maybe
see,
one of Hitler's pieces of artwork.
I don't think any originals of Hitler's still exist, or if they do, they're hidden somewhere.
I
I
don't.
don't think there's.
I know I've seen pictures of them. Cause one of my favorite moments in art history in one of my art history classes was the teacher put up a slide of this cute fluffy puppy. And he's like, "Isn't this puppy cute?" The next slide goes, "It was painted by Hitler."
Hey, you could paint. Okay, so Mkuve is also the commander of the Odessa during the One-Year War, first person who violated the Antarctic Treaty by using a nuke, but foiled by Amuro and his Gundam. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for the history lesson. Oh, sorry, I've got a whole bunch of suddenly had a whole no, not on this. I just like looked down and just noticed that a ton of notifications. So basically, Cassilia approaches him, and then it cuts back to the prison. So it's just like, okay, we're just gonna jump from one place to the other. Um, and basically, it's Big Daddy talking to Rebel, and you know, and he's like, well, what do you think? And he's like, well, you've made your feelings and intentions pretty clear. You know, it's like, well, yeah, I want peace. It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't want this. Basically, he clearly has had a one-sided conversation explaining himself and what's gone on to Revel. He's just like, look, my fucking kids. It's like, I got no control of them, man. I'm just a sovereign. This asshole over here has been pulling shit behind my back. I didn't want to blow up your fleet. I really didn't. I didn't want to drop that colony on Earth because, I mean, they were really close to hitting you guys, but obviously missed. Sorry about that. But can we find some common ground? Like, I don't want any more people to die if we can help it. And he's basically like, yeah, sure. And he's like, well, what can we do? He literally says like, oh, it's kind of like that negotiation. That, well, what can we do to make this happen? Basically, and he's like, you can do whatever you want. Not much that a prisoner like me can do. And I love the way, like, I wrote it down wrong, but that was the gist of it. Did you write the actual wording down?
Let's see.
Rebel's response.
No, I don't think I got that part. I mean, I remember that line, but it's like, I'm just a guy in a prison uniform. What do you expect me to do?
Yeah, but I think he literally says, he's like, you can do things, but there's like, I can't do much here as a prisoner. It's basically what he said. And at that point, Dagon's like, I understand.
Yeah, he says, like, Revel says Dagon could do something, but he is just a prisoner right now.
Yeah, I'm just a prisoner. I can't do anything.
Yeah, and Dagon sighs, standing up. It's like, I understand. I understand. I understand.
Well, the thing is, like, the first time I watched this, so like as I covered last week, I have seen episode 6 of the OVA, so I've seen this before, and like this conversation alone is literally like Revel chose his words very carefully.
Yeah.
Like Declan, on the other hand, is like just literally like kind of just sitting out there hard on his sleeve, but obviously very smart at the same time. The man is a negotiator. He is a politician. You know, he does represent his country. And this is a man that he has sat across the table from before in different negotiations and things like that. You know, there's a mutual respect there. And I guarantee you at some point he probably didn't necessarily say he was sorry, but he said, look, this wasn't how it was supposed to go. Like, of we could make some headway elsewise. How can we do that, man? And he's like, well, I mean, Dagon, you're out there. You can do those things. I'm just a prisoner. I can't do anything. And he's literally like, okay, I got it. All right. Yep. I totally understand you. Like, make sure everybody hears him. Yeah, I understand you completely. But I love the idea. He just goes dink with his cane, and the dude opens the door. I'm like, somebody's job is to stand there and listen for a cane to open the
plus,
door.
like when they open the door, the two soldiers there look terrified.
Yeah.
About what's going on.
Yeah, because they're probably going to die because they could hear this conversation. And knowing what Gihren has planned, and then the Sovereign's here, probably fairly secretly, if I had to guess. And so he goes, and he leaves, and Rebel's like, I don't know exactly how that went, but you can tell he's in what looks like an interrogation room or one of those things where they make terroristic videos, where there's a set up and the chair and the blank cement.
Yeah, because he has like the bright light on him and stuff like that, right?
It's literally set up like if there were probably some type of some videos going to the Federation, you know, where they were probably fucking him up a little bit. He's still beat up from the battle. He's still got his head bandaged and stuff, but he doesn't look any worse for wear. I feel like there was probably a cut somewhere where he's been mildly tortured prior to this, even though he was told to be treated with the utmost respect. Is like, but we've seen that in movies and series before. Literally, the leader of the bad guys is like, no, you treat him with the most respect, and then he gets the shit beat out of him, and then that leader comes in later, and like is literally like bandaging up or tending the wounds of the person he wasn't supposed to be hurt. It's like, look, sorry about this. How can we fix this? And that's usually when the good guy, so to speak, gets away because the head bad guy wanted him to get out in the first place. It's become a cliche so much that they do that here. I'm getting ahead of myself, though, because we cut back to the museum.
Yep.
Totally not. Marlon says the streams aren't showing up in the feed anymore. Yeah, something about live streams are getting wonky. I don't know what it is. I've noticed that, too, because other people I follow, I don't necessarily see their streams when they go live. I see it after the fact. But even when a stream finishes, it sometimes doesn't show up in your feed at all until it's done processing. So guys, make sure you're hitting the bell and stuff if you haven't. I normally don't recommend that, but for live streams, I say do that. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, no, I had some orange juice, but oh, okay, I skipped that part. So basically, Makuv and Cassilia are like, okay, well, what do you want from me? She's like, well, we want you to go to Earth. We want you to be our like liaison. Go be our representative on Earth. It's like, so go down there, make good with the Federation people, but set them up to die so that we can fucking invade Earth.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I do that? It's like, well, basically, I kind of, my notes here are a little weird. So I said basically pushing Gihren's agenda ahead because he wants to continue the war. He's made that intention very clear. He wants this war to continue. He wants to wipe out humanity as much as he can. So at the same time, they want to push Gihren's agenda ahead, but Cassilia also is working on killing Gihren at the same time. So it's like she's playing the middle. It's kind of funny. And once again, this is all coming from somebody who knows nothing of this. So you guys, when I say things, I clearly have nothing to back it up other than what I'm watching. So just remember that when you're watching these reviews. But McKeevy says he's got two questions. It's like, okay, so if the Federation ends up backing down or we wipe them out, but you guys are planning to keep this war going, who are we supposed to aim our raised fists at? Or to whom are we supposed to aim our raised fists, if we're going to actually put that sentence correct? And she goes, what's your second question? I was like, shit. I was like, okay. Usually that's one that's already answered itself when you jump to the next one. And it's like, and he's like, well, what assurances do I have if I go down there and do all these that I don't end up dead like all these other soldiers you throw out on the front lines after, inflating them from their balls up.
What's the
Uh,
insurance I don't end up in an Anaheim Electronics car?
yeah, exactly. It's like, how do I know that I don't end up with a brand new shiny car out there and then come
Case
down
of exploding.
in case of explosions? And basically she said, Garma. And he's like, yeah, that's pretty good assurances. He's like, yeah, we're going to put you over Garma or Garma under you, whichever way you purple haired freaks like it.
Top,
So,
bottom, we'll leave that up to you guys.
top, bottom, it doesn't matter. Whatever you got to do. And that's pretty good assurance, realistically. And then she's like, well, going back to your first question, well, this war is already, there's plans in the works to keep this war going. It's like, there's going to be people to fight. Don't worry about that. And it's like, he's like, okay. But what you guys missed in the subtext was, I'm going to kill Gihren. Because she's wanted him dead for, like, since what, episode 2? When did she get slapped? Episode 2 or episode 1? And it wasn't even Gihren
that I'm
did it.
pretty sure might have been episode 1.
Yeah, but that was Sasoro. That wasn't even Gihren. But it's just like, even going way back when, yeah, she's totally done with her older brothers. She wants them all to die. It's like, fuck it. Daddy needs to be in charge. I need to be in the shadows behind him, killing the people he wants dead. And I'm just gonna make all this happen. Where the fuck is that blonde kid? I want him dead. Like, yeah, she's nuts. She's really good at her job, but she's nuts too. I still want to know who she was naked with. It haunts me to this day. But yeah, that's basically that. And then, meanwhile, back in space. I don't know. It's like, I don't know technically where they were. They're somewhere near Zeon. You've got good old Dozel talking to Char in a quick little runabout to transport. And oddly enough, he's directly bitching. Like, this is one of those things where the time skips. Like, okay, we've gone from the conversation to that happened. So Makube has already been assigned.
It's a bit of a jarring jump, but it makes sense narrative-wise because he's shouting about, it's like, why the heck does Makabe get to represent Zeon?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's basically like there should have been a commercial break there. There might have been at some point in time. But at first you don't know who he's talking to, and then you find out it's Char. And he's like, look, I wish there was a talented officer that I could send with Garma to Earth, but I'm glad you chose to stay behind instead. And then Char's like, yeah, Earth doesn't really agree with me. It's kind of true. He does.
The space joint through and through, and then I added on here. It's like, maybe I'll throw a big rock at it later.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Feeling a little new type. Might drop a big rock on Earth. I don't know. But basically, he says, Dozel tells him, like, look, I've got a special assignment needs done, and I think you might be the right man for the job. And he's like, oh. And he says, hey, the Federation's building a new mobile suit in secret. And then this weird robot head comes out of the table in front of them.
I absolutely love that design, and that's partly because it reminds me a lot of the robots that I've been making lately in my comic and stuff.
My first thought was it's something you designed and gave to them.
Yeah, and there's a neat little detail when you see like the back of its head.
Yeah, it
has like stereo controls, which is kind of cool. But there's a little piece of text that says "Made in Zeon."
Yeah, I did see that. But like, it legit looks like a robot. It has 2 green sensors or eyes. It looks around to make sure the coast is clear, and then gives a printout to Char, which I guess was
very Studio Ghibli, if you ask me.
It really was. It really was. And like, it's so strange. I was just like, so we have robot desk assistants? Like, what is this? Like, just literally, like, what? It's like, and
somebody wanted to put a robot in that scene, and didn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, and it literally like prints it out of its like mouth slit, kind of. Char reads it, gets all his briefing basically, hands it back to the robot who opens his mouth that you didn't even know was there. He sticks it in and it shreds it, and then it goes back into the desk like nothing happened. Like, are we not talking about the desk robot? That would have been me. I was just like, they're just acting like this is normal behavior, that there's a desk robot. Just like,
I love that desk robot.
I don't understand.
That made my day when I saw that.
Literally,
thing.
like, wait, can we talk about that desk robot for a minute? I was like, this seems like a Bayverse thing. Like, it was too cool to not include somewhere. We had to find a spot for the desk robot. And like, it's not like it talked or anything, but why did it make sure the coast was clear?
I want to see like the study sketches for this thing, because there's got to be like some detailed sketches that done by somebody for basically making props, quote unquote, for.
I want to know what it's called. Like, what is it? I mean, it's clearly it's like it's there to literally print out secret documents and destroy them. It's the whole point of it. But it's like a private cabin on Dozel's little transport ship, and it's just like, I don't even know if he pushes a button or something, or if it just comes out on cue. I don't remember, because he's leaning over all sly like this.
I thought I remember seeing him push a button, but now I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember, because it's like, it's well-timed, voice-activated robot in the desk. It's like, sure. Somebody needs to make this and like program it with Alexa. But it also, in a way, reminded me of R2-D2's like periscope.
Yeah.
But it also was like seamless in the desk. Like before, you didn't see like the square from the top of the head. It was also wood grain. Sure, why the fuck not? There's just a desk robot now. Never be seen again. But there's a desk robot. Once again, they're also still using paper to print out secret documents. I was like, sure. Like, it didn't need to be on a screen where nobody else could see it. Paper printout.
Yeah, there's so many like weird inefficiencies, holdovers from this being from something from the 70s.
What does it do when it's out of paper? Does it pop up and let you know?
There's probably a little error sign or something like that. The eyes flash yellow.
Please.
And also remember the heart controls in the back of its head. And I said that it looked kind of like a stereo or something like that.
Yeah, it had like fast forward. It had arrows. It had like a 4-arrow control thing. So it's just like, what? I want to know more about this. It's like, fine. Like, all the war in mobile suits and shit. I want to know about the desk robot. Tell me about
where can I get one?
Where can I get one, and does it work? It's like, I literally want that in my life. Like,
somebody show this to Adam Savage. Get him on a one-day bill.
He'll make it, but I feel like Bill would make it more than Adam would. But Adam would be better at it, because Adam would make it functional. But like, it's like Weibo almost. It'd be funny. Because I was just thinking as like, but the first thing that I would have it print if I had it would be a TPS cover sheet. TPS report cover sheet be the first thing that comes out of it. The most useless piece of paper ever. Thank you. Put it right there. Destroy this, please. And then the next piece of paper would be a memo about the TPS cover sheet. Oh my God! Please tell me people understand this. Okay,
I need to watch that movie again. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. It doesn't come on TV very often either. It's really weird. But basically, he says, "Look, Project V is a thing. There's a mobile suit out there. They're making it. I want it gone. Your job is to go find it, and I'm going to make sure you have everything in your power to go find it and kill it. So here you go, my brand new not self-named. I named it myself. The most what is the name of their type? The
Musai to surpass other Musais.
The Musai to surpass all Musais. It's like, that's just a terrible way to put that. But it's,
and he calls it the Farmer.
The Farmer. The Farmer.
And I looked it up, and it doesn't. It at first I was like, oh, it's a race of like snow elves from something, and I was like, oh no, that's from Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Apparently it's just like the name of like a random town or something like that in England.
It's got to mean something to him that he picked that name for it. And yeah, I think
Well,
it's
because
got.
like he pilot his cruiser's called like what? Was it the Valkyrie or something like that?
I think so, but I don't know offhand. I don't remember what his ship was called. I remember his ship looked slightly different than the normal ones. This one looks fairly well different, other than the shape. Like I think it's got what more cannons. It's got a definite new bridge type with the.
Yeah, because it's got the more
head.
rounded,
It's
like
got a head
dome
on.
shape. It looks like a head. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a Super Robo bad guy head. It looks like something out of like the Robies from Voltron. And I think it has slightly like jagged edges down the hull in a couple spots. I was like, "There, it's your ship. Go do it." He's like, like big.
This scene also reminds me of it's like the scene in Star Trek: The Motion Picture where they're bringing the
When they're
runabout
flying up
up.
the space dock. Yeah,
Also, you see a similar scene like that in the first episode of Star Trek: Next Generation.
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, they fly up to it and they hop on board, or well, he hops on board and he jumps into the ship. And there's good old what's his face? I wrote it down and I forgot it. Where is it?
Lieutenant Dren?
Gihren. Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out how far. Okay, I jumped down to the next page. That's why I was lost. Um, Here's a nice typo. So he gets in there and is like Dren calls him the captain. He's like, dude, I'm not a captain. It's like my job is to be out there blowing up fools. You're the captain. And he's like, what? And then he goes on this whole big spiel about how he's like a space knight and all kinds of stuff like that, being very inspirational.
I have never once wanted to be a fine sailor like yourselves. I am a warrior of the cosmos, a knight who races at will across the heavens faster than any ship.
Yeah, that was a load of bullshit.
Oh, totally.
It's true, but it's bullshit.
It goes back to like, is it really arrogance if you're just that good?
That's the problem, yeah. But basically, he puts Dren in charge, but he also makes them feel empowered at the same time. He's like, no, you're the pilot. And I think he even says something about not going down with the ship, if I remember correctly. Or like he has no intention of going down with the ship or something.
I mean, it's all a very Char move, basically. It's like, I'm buttering these people up, so that way they're even more infatuated with me.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to love me. You're going to do everything I say, but you're going to think it's your idea, which is 100% what he does from now on. He literally like manipulates them. He's like, okay, well, let's go. So they get out the dock, and I love their first move. It's literally like
he does like a barrel roll in a giant warship.
Yeah, and like I guess the point was to prove how maneuverable and speedy this thing supposedly is. But as Androius pointed out, it's like it's certainly not a certainly a not so perfect ship to chase white base later on. Where am I here? Oh, okay. Yeah. So basically, they're going to go do some combat drills. They're like, go ahead to the battle zone, which turns out to be next to the moon, where they blew up a whole bunch of shit, and there's still some leftover Federation ships. That's where they're going. But back at the POW prison. Meanwhile, at the POW prison,
you hear radio chatter.
Radio chatter. I'm just going to speed this along because I need to get to bed. Basically, Cassilia has basically set up to have the old man extracted. So yeah,
and make it look like the Fetties did it.
Yeah. So they basically have a whole bunch of their soldiers dressed up in Federation uniforms. Gee, I wonder where they got those. They break Revel out. And I love that he's literally like, they wake him up in the middle of the night. They're like, we're so sorry for waking you up like this, sir. And well, I guess technically they're not in Fedi uniforms at this point. They're in Xeon uniforms. But then he comes out and they're like, well, what are we doing? What? I wasn't aware if we were going to be doing any moves. Notice this dead guy. And he's like, oh, it's one of those. It's sort of like, it's Tuesday. I get it. And so basically they shoot their way out. They make it to the dock. They don't make it they get in a giant transport, like a big ass van that's got guns out of it. They're shooting anyone and everyone in their way, which is insane. But I guess at this point they're probably dressed in Federation garb to make sure people know. It's really, you understand what's happening, but it's very unclear as to what's happening. Um, so at the same time, they have a ship coming in through the dock, shooting its way in because it's clearly a Federation little transport, and they get into the dock. The other guys are coming through this way. They in fact park this huge transport on the elevator, which is insane. Like the wheels are hanging off. They're like, fuck it. It's something you would see out of like Halo 2 when you like park the Warthog in a place it's not supposed to go to get it up to somewhere else. 100% what that is. They drag it up to the dock and then they drive it through the wall and like blow everything up. They're fighting people there. They spin the thing around, open the back door, and basically like, go, 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 like kicking Revel out the door.
And the other guy is like running next to him. It's like, hurry, hurry.
Come on, old man.
Maybe we should approach a little bit closer to the thing.
Maybe there should be zero gravity in this section, but there's not, and I'm calling bullshit on it.
It looks cool.
It's the dock. There's not supposed to be gravity. So they get in the ship, they fly out, they're blowing shit up, but somehow fly right past a whole bunch of Musais. Nobody's shooting at them as they're flying up to a Federation ship that's right there. And it's like, is nobody really on guard here? Like, what? Like, how did all this go down and no other ships got involved when there were at least 3 parked right there, unless they happen to be empty, which is unlikely. It's just like, fine, that was the thing that just happened. Now, of course, at this point, he's like asking him, he's like, who are you? Who are you with? And he tells him nothing. He's like, okay, it's gonna be one of those things. I think he really does understand what's happening, given the previous conversation. So, and the guy is now talking oak. Was it Oak Tree? They've got Bluebird.
Yeah, he says, this is Oak Tree. Bluebird is in the birdcage.
Yeah, so, and he's talking to Cassilia. Cassilia. So all of this was the plan. And of course, she did this for Big Daddy because Big Daddy said he understood. This is what he understood. Revel can't do anything if he's in this prison. Got to get out. And the only way he's getting out of here is if we make it look like they busted him out, which is not what happened, but that's okay. It's like I said, at some point, it's like, what is actually happening here? To him, he's like, I think he understands that he's definitely being broken out against everyone else's wishes, but I still don't think he understands, are these actual Feddies or are they Xeon soldiers? I don't think he knows exactly. But anyway, he's suspicious of it, but he doesn't care because he's getting what he needs.
He probably figures that either he's going to be free or dead by the end of this. Either way, he doesn't have to deal with this shit anymore.
And he doesn't have to be in prison. Unless this is all like what's his face did to Theon Greyjoy, where he let him think he escaped and let him think he was getting help and then ran him right back into his prison to torture him even further.
Are you making Game of Thrones references?
Yes, I finally get a Game of Thrones reference again. It's been like 9 episodes since I got a Game of Thrones reference in. That's not what's actually happening, but it totally could have been. But either way, at the same time, we go back to the farmer, and they get to the battle zone, and they're like, okay, charge up the guns, target this vessel. We're going to fire at this range, and then we're going to do the thing. And they're like, cool, we're going to do that. Weapons are powering up. What?
Why is the ship coming towards us when it's supposed to be a derelict?
That thing's supposed to be stationary, but it's coming at us. And I was like, that's odd. And Char's like, well, what do we do? And he's like, what do we do indeed?
We cut to the
what do we do? No, seriously, what do we do? Cut to the end. Yeah. I mean, I know I've already watched the episode next, or at least some of the rest of this episode, so I know what happens, and one of my other favorite lines is coming up after that. But
neat thing in the ending credits, we get to see more of the Gundam that they are trying to show off in this, because there's always that scene where you see like robotic legs sticking into the water. We actually see it with armor now, and it's the at first I thought it was the the rollout colors for the Gundam local type.
Uh-huh.
But apparently the RX-78-01 prototype Gundam had the exact same rollout colors. So it's probably that.
Could be.
And then at the very end, they pan up and we see a Gundam. I'm still not too sure which one it's supposed to be because it doesn't have a V fin. It's all white and it has two little antennas in the back of its head.
That's weird. That sounds a lot like some of the North American types with the two antennae on the back of the head, or even some of the ground type from or the ground type S from Thunderbolt. It was very similar, like no V fin and then had antennas.
Yeah,
I need to rewatch that then because I didn't.
It's weird design. I don't think there's any Gunpla for it.
It's got to be a work in progress. It's all Project V. Okay, so I need to watch the credits.
RX-78-00 or something like that. I'd look to see if that was a thing. It's not, according to me.
Or it's just an RX and they haven't given it a number yet because they don't even know what they've got yet. But either way, this is a good episode. A whole lot of dialogue, a whole lot of moving pieces around. Basically, we're running down to the end of the setup. Basically, is what's happening here.
I mean, all this is very, particularly Dozel giving the mission to Char is basically opening the door to the first episode of First Gundam.
Yeah,
because that's what he's doing on. I think we said it's Side 7 is the one that Armor lives on.
Yeah,
he's going there, poking around, looking for Operation V, so that way he can blow up the Federation's new mobile suit.
Yeah, at least that's what he went there to do. So, and this is where I kind of wish they had just picked up from the end of this and just rolled right into redoing.
I know, right?
Original Gundam. It's like all of this buildup with amazing animation, amazing voice acting, great writing, and all this stuff, and then they just leave it and just like grab your hands, gimme. It's like give me new old Gundam. New old Gundam. That's what it should be called. Not Origin. New old Gundam. I mean, they could, like we talked about before, it'd be nice if they gave us some type of other Origins show, something. I don't care, like anything.
Particularly since the Gundam the Origin manga covers everything, if I remember correctly. I haven't actually read it myself. I don't own it. I want to at some point, but it comes out on thick omnibuses and they're expensive.
Yeah, I like how there's people showing up near the end here. So we got Didu Gunpla and Jeremy Osha coming in near the end here. The numbers have been very minuscule tonight, but it is what it is. Everyone's just waiting for Re-Rise. They just want us to get to the Re-Rise reviews. Couple weeks.
I want us to get to Re-Rise reviews.
We don't even get a break either. That's the thing that sucks. It's like we're literally going to go from Origins to Re-Rise. It's just going to suck. But at least seeing something new will be nice.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's not that this isn't new, but it is a thing. Like, we're not even going to get a chance to do the Thunderbolt reviews or anything like that because, well, we just don't have an extra day to do it. But I mean, we have extra time, so to speak. We just don't have it. So maybe we could do that. Just throw in one during the week or something. But guys, if you have any other opinions or anything, let us know in the chat because we're essentially done talking for the remainder of the episode.
For now, we will just stare into the camera accusingly.
Okay, I can't do that for too long. That it hurts my eyes. The light is right behind the camera. I can't stare at it.
I can't keep a straight face to save my freaking life.
No, you can't. Guys, also, look at his glorious beginning of a beard that's happening. Look at it. Like, show the people. Like, it's happening. Except he's not allowed to have one.
No, my wife does not care for the facial hair. She likes the mustache, but everything else. And I kind of was like, are you sure? I mean, it looks kind of nice. It's like, think about how many times I've kissed you since that thing started coming out. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but also pandemic. Come on. If there's a better time to grow a beard than pandemic time, I don't know it.
I
Literally,
have thought about calling it my pandemic beard or something.
I think while it's still short, you should shape it a little bit. Maybe get like some sharper lines, like we talked about before. Like, you know, so you could have like the sharper kind of fit together thing. Like you wouldn't do very good at full fuzzy, but like I think like having a very well manicured beard would totally work for you. Not even long, like keep it short and to a point. I think it would. I think it would work for you. I understand her reticence to it, but I think it could be a good look for you, especially around Renaissance time. Like you could legit have like the Three Musketeers style beard going on.
Well, it's like, and my dad has always had either the mustache or the full beard and
Yeah,
mustache combo thing going on. So I have an idea of what
you have
I'm
an idea of what it
capable
would look like.
of.
It's just that you've
And
never managed it. Like I could see it though. I could, but I get it. She doesn't like a beard for whatever reason. It's fine. Teach their own. My wifey likes a beard. She was very happy when I finally got to grow mine out. Mine's been growing back very slowly since I trimmed it off like almost 3 weeks ago when I cut my hair. I just trimmed it down because it was just unruly, and it's coming in slow like since then, or it's coming
weird.
in thicker and doesn't look like it's as long. Like this was because I cut this as long as my new hair clippers would cut. Like I think it was like a full inch. Um, and I didn't realize how long my beard actually was because it curls under, it never grows down.
Right.
And it was like that, but it was
Oh
curled
wow.
under. So until I ran the stuff through it, I'm like, it's still cutting. It's just like, it's like, good God. And you know, I still layer it. So usually this is like half an inch and this is like an inch or inch and a half, 3 inches, you know, just as I grow it. I haven't trimmed it lately. It just, you know, I'm trying to let it get built up again, but I got to give myself a haircut this week. I can feel it getting a little, whatever. And since it's been like 90 degrees out,
Yeah.
um, I have a pile of Gunpla over here I need to put away. Still have the denial out. It can't keep its flame wing. It keeps falling off now. It was fine for years that it's been sitting on that shelf. It won't stay on now. And I have all three Hugos sitting over here. Like they've been in an open box over there against the wall with Kamen Rider Kabuto. Like ever since I did those reviews, like way back when, and I've never put them back on a shelf. The IBO shelves are so full, I have nowhere to stick them because Hugos don't exactly have a small footprint, especially with those huge swords.
Yeah, that's an issue I'm running into as well. I need to the Gunpla shelf that I set up. I need to curate it a little bit more to get more things to fit on there because as it is right now, it's basically full, and I still have things that need homes.
I have no idea how that goes. He says with
the wall of tall.
What he says with overflowing shelves. I hope that wherever we move, I have enough room to add more details, you know, and whatever my new nerd cave will be in the future, whenever that will be. As I said
well,
before,
at the very least, if you end up tossing all the boxes, you'll have space enough for stuff on top of them, basically.
Yeah, but I'm
just
really
get rid of the boxes, Shoki. Do you really need them?
I need the boxes. You know I need the boxes. I don't want the boxes. I need the boxes. It's like, believe me, because in the future I would love to have my review set like in the closet, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I doubt I could do it here, you know, just the way things are set up. But that would isolate things, and then I would have a whole lot more display room. Plus, it wouldn't be in front of a leaky window. But say like very soon, with the rate I'm buying these statues, I'm gonna need another Billy, you know. So I'm gonna have to add that to the end down here. So I'm gonna lose even more space. You know, I'm gonna have to move the stuff that's on the walls and do a lot of other things. And I'm already planning on curating my Transformers a little bit better. I mean, I did when I pulled those ones off the wall that I'm getting rid of, but you know, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do in the future, especially if if I buy any more Earthrise stuff, which I don't know if I will or won't, because I can't find any.
Yeah, I've seen a few in the stores, but for the most part, they just haven't been a presence.
Can't find any deluxes, and those are the ones I want. You know, I don't need Earthrise Prime. I kind of want it, kind of.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
with you in the same. I'm kind of in the same boat there because like it's kind of cool that we have a full Prime, as it were.
yeah.
Um,
I'm more annoyed by the fact that it doesn't transform anything like the Siege Prime. It's all new transformation, but it
oh,
does
really? I
use.
thought it was
No, it's not
just.
even based off the same one. It's got the same head and the same legs, basically. Everything else is new. Even though it's incredibly similar in design, but the trailer it comes with can hitch up to your Siege Prime no problem. So it's
Mhm.
almost like they could have given us a trailer for a Siege Prime, but they just chose not to. And then I'm sure you saw today the reveal of the classified Ultra Magnus for the new Netflix series, the Netflix version of Ultra
Yeah.
Magnus. It's exactly the fucking same, just painted darker and muddier, and comes with that one little microbot person that and
It comes
some
with a
flipping
version of
parts.
Rung.
Yeah,
And what was
and
with the in the pictures I was seeing? There was like something encased in like black silly putty or something.
I think that might have been like a secret bag or something. I don't know. Um, all I know is I don't care. There was no reason to keep this thing a secret in any way, shape, or form. It's nothing special, unless they do the thing. Well, there's also in the series you see him sneaking in to talk to Megatron, so he's like got a cloak on and stuff. However, ginormous Magnus is, and he's just trying to sneak around. Um, so I think he tried to backdoor a deal with Megatron in the series. That's
Mhm.
probably why he looks the way he does. It's like I still don't care about the mold. Like I was only waiting for it to go like on super secret ultra sale so that I could pick one up for like next to nothing and feel like I got something out of it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm still happy with my Combiner Wars
yeah,
Magnus, and heck, um I think I showed you a picture of this. I have a Wreckers display set up
yeah,
now, and I use my Classics Magnus with the Fans Project City Commander armor on it.
yeah.
And I
That's a
think
good one.
that one was pretty cool. And I almost had that be my Magnus for the my Lost Light display, but I figured Combiner Wars is exactly Lost Light Magnus. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'm tired of the fact that they're re-releasing Siege crap and selling it to you with a new deco. It's like this is literally the stuff we bought a year ago, and you're selling it to us again with just more of the deco we didn't even care for when it was around. We didn't
if
want the
I
dirty things.
see it and the price is the same
It's
and
not
not
worth it.
more or something like that, I might pick it up if it's something that I don't already have. Like the
I don't.
Magnus, I might pick that up if I don't, since I don't have the Siege one.
I
That
would
could be
get the
kind of
Siege
cool to
one
have,
though.
but I'm not really gonna go out of my way for it.
No, because I think those are. I don't remember if they're Pulse exclusives though. I think they are. I just
Right,
don't think. I don't think any of them are worth it. I just don't.
right
Sorry.
now, the Transformers thing that I would really want to get, but I don't have any money for, is apparently the C-Cons are starting to come back in stock on Pulse.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. Like people were showing them off and just like never saw these things in the universe. Like they don't know anybody who owns them, but some of them were ordered. People are showing weird combos they've done with them. And now there's another third party company coming out with their versions of the Seacons too, which looks pretty neat. Saw that on BBTS earlier. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I need to go to the bathroom.
All
Guys,
right.
do the like, subscribe thing, all that stuff. Stick around tomorrow on my channel for New in the Kitchen, where I show off the latest prices for the MS100 contest. And then, of course, some other cool stuff I got in. Also, New Age is going to be shipping out their Seekers soon, like the new Seekers, the
The Coneheads?
Rainmakers? No, the Rainmakers. Coneheads are already out. They're
Oh.
shipping they're shipping the Rainmakers very soon, and I need to get some of those. But the only versions of the Rainmakers I kind of want because I actually dig these decos. What you got coming up this week?
I'm not 100% certain what I'm doing for Friday, and in theory, it might be another custom update.
Yeah.
That depends on if time and weather allows for it, because it's not the best weather for painting right now, with it being kind of humid and threatening to rain.
I don't know. I did a pretty decent job painting this week.
I'm talking about this week right now, my dude.
It is going to be a little bit rainy. It's going to be a little bit humid.
I'm probably going to do some Transformer reviews soon. I want to get back on the my Rodimus review series, and I really want to start doing some reviews of some of my Beast Wars guys.
Yeah, you need to.
Since you put that idea in my head.
I'm the idea guy. That's what I do. I need to get back on the review series that I started, and I feel like I'm going to have extra time this week for some reason. But I've got to get the latest build done, review this girl, review the things that are sitting on the desk right now, and then I'm going to plow through a bunch of that particular review series of the stuff that I borrowed from you, which I started. I just didn't get too far with.
I was about to say, you haven't put out any videos for that stuff yet, have you?
No, because I filmed all the initial stuff, but it's the second part of those that I have not filmed yet.
Gotcha. I'm hoping to do some, because I know today I reviewed Strike Full Package, and I have an SD kit of that I want to review as well, have those come out around the same time. And basically, I just want to kind of try to get a bunch of stuff reviewed during the week.
But now would be the time to get ahead on reviews. So when you do go back to work and you literally have no free time again, you have a huge stock of reviews.
Because in theory, I'm supposed to be back in work by either the 6th or the 13th, I think. We'll see.
It's not going to happen. They're still telling the wifey that her classes are still going to happen at the beginning of April. No. The in-person classes where you actually have to touch other people and get in their faces and take their vitals and draw blood and give injections. No, that's not happening. I don't care who you are. That's not a thing that's going to continue for now. They're going to have to put that off. But guys, see y'all later. Remember, as always, to keep on nerding, to keep on building. Let's keep building the shelf space together.
And I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.
No, so it doesn't need to be our joint thing. Let's keep building this shelf space together. That should be a thing. You put that on the calendar, which neither of us has shown off. Bye, guys.
Bye.